now. Okay.
Hey, Thrand here, and I'll probably say that again in a moment. I'm sorry we got interrupted. We don't understand what happened. The phone I have did not run out of charge. Had it full shut down on us after 49 minutes. I plan on going at least an hour, maybe a little bit longer, to be able to talk to people and have people come online tonight and be able to actually hang out. Because I had a few messages at the time I was coming on that some of y'all wouldn't be able to get on immediately. So I wanted to drag it on a little bit and talk about our ale, which is a Weisse N, and it means a yeast wheat beer. And this is from Shiner, Texas, and it's a brewery that makes Shiner Bock. Everybody knows them if you're in Texas or around Texas, down southern states. I don't know if you can get this in other areas, but I did review it. I am out of that now. I'm now drinking a nice Pinot Grigio wine,
You stole my wine.
which we're not reviewing.
You stole my wine.
Yeah, this is my last bottle, and I just reviewed it. So if you want to see what I said about it, you can go back and watch the previous video. This is more for everybody else to talk, but I will tell you I gave it a 4. I'd say a 4.5 star if you're going with 5 stars as a beer in general, as a Hefeweizen or Hefeweizen, and it is a German wheat beer, very much like Blue Moon, which is a beer that's common around here, that has a citrus flavor. This one has flavor from the dewberry, which is a berry that's common to Texas, native to Texas, and it's done during summer. I don't know if it's going to be just a
It is
seasonal thing.
seasonal
It's
as
a
far as I
seasonal,
can tell.
but this is 95 calories. This is a low carb or low calorie beer, 3.5 carbs per bottle, and that means that it is a good beer to drink, and it has full flavor. It's unfiltered. It has the yeast flavor. It has the wheat flavor of that. It is excellent. So that's as much as I'm going to say now, because now we'll just continue talking to everybody. If somebody does want to know what I thought about the beer, I'll bring it back up. But I wanted to continue projects that we have coming up. I don't know who all's out there, but hail to everyone.
Not many people. We're up to 6.
Okay.
My apologies. My phone is going off in the background. And I'm not sure why.
All right. I was going to say that I have
That's
a
my
whip
phone,
here
though.
from Trinity Whip Co., made by Blake Bruning, and he's an excellent whip master. You can go by and check out his YouTube channel. He's good with target whips and hitting the target dead on. And if you notice, I have an extra long cracker with knots in it, and that's usually used to cut cans with, like soda cans. I want to be trying to do some of that. I have a long fall on it, and this is a Cairo style flare, like a Cairo flare, like Indiana Jones would have used in Raiders when he fought in the marketplace. And that's true. He had all different length whips. They had 15-foot whips for situations where he was supposed to be swinging on it. They had some with a wire in it, which doesn't work as good as a whip, and you probably wouldn't have that in a whip just for whatever reason. It was for stunts. They had shorter whips, I mean like 8-foot whips, 6-foot whips, for all different things, but 8-foot I think was the smallest they actually used in the videos. This has got an 8-foot thong, if I'm not mistaken, about 8 or a little bit longer, maybe 9-foot thong. Then it has an extremely long fall. So yes, the reach of this, with the fall almost being 2 foot, 1.5 foot or so, I guess, almost 2 foot, the fall, and then with the extra long cracker on the end, or popper, some people will say it's a cracker, and you have the fall, it has a reach over 10 feet. So it's a nice long whip. It's got real kangaroo hide on the outside, the overlay, which makes it a very nice
Still
whip,
wish
very
they'd
well done,
ship
like
us
an
the steaks.
Australian stock whip. Like Indies is a combination of some of the Middle Eastern designs and the Aussie whips when it was made.
Still wish you'd send us the steaks.
Kangaroo
Hey,
steaks,
Kiata.
steaks. But what I was trying to say is I'm going to be doing a video, and what we're going to focus on is how much damage can whips do. And a lot of people are into stuff like Indiana Jones, into the Belmonts, into Castlevania. And yes, if you want, I did a video that was a request video, and I was given a very long chain, I guess a flail, kind of like a chain whip. It doesn't really work like a whip, but I did whip it, and I was able to destroy that Loch 6 gel-head. Do I think it was the most effective thing in the world? I don't know what it'd be like in real combat. You'd have to be able to improvise if they got in on you, because you have that range, you miss, or something doesn't go right, they'd be in on you. But a whip, I can most certainly tell you, you can choke up on cracking with it, and I wonder how much damage you do to flesh. So we're going to try this on ballistics gel, and on various types of targets and different ideas how actual real whip could be used in combat as a weapon and how it's described in different texts, because people are even supposedly to hunt small animals with these and stuff. They've done it with whips and killed them. So we'll see. We'll see how effective it is, and it's going to be a lot of fun, and we're going to do some videos, and I might even do a video closer to when the new indie movie, which I think they've set back to, 2022 now or something ridiculous?
Unfortunately, yes.
Due to the plague around. So I may not wait till then, but I may do some kind of cheesy Indiana Jones thing where I dress up in full cosplay gear and go indie and try to do some kind of a skit with it. That would be fun too. So I want to have some fun with the whips from Trinity Whip Co.
Okay. TSM space. Are you meaning E or U? Or AEIOU?
The Witch Doctor.
No. TSM space put AEIOU. But if you're traditionally or saying it excuse my language.
AEIOU.
E or U, like the Islanders would, or the Japanese even would. They just would have said it the opposite way around. They would have said it A-E-U-E-O. Okay.
Anyway, I would like any input. If anybody wants to put anything on now or right later on this video when you watch it. When I do the video on testing the whip, I want to test the idea of it being able to, just like the chain whip was, to cause damage by wrapping around the target and pulling it. That would be one thing. But I want to test the actual crack, the sonic boom of the tip of the whip to see how much damage it does. Like, let's say we know it can cut cans and so on, but what will it do to ballistic gel, or possibly ballistic gel with some cloth over it? The myths are, or the rumors, that it can cut flesh deep. It can actually draw enough blood to make you bleed out. We don't know that. I mean, that's the point. You have to really test it. There are some YouTubers who have tested whips and
if everyone goes crazy,
heavy cloth
for real
on themselves and took damage from it, really bad whelps. But I think without the cloth, they would have been bleeding. I really, really do. What was he asking?
Nothing. I was being evil. I said if everyone goes crazy enough, maybe we'll get to test it for real.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's, I don't know which one of them, but it wasn't Blake Bruning himself from Trinity Whip Co., but one of the other whip masters, I don't want to say his name because I'm actually talking about this guy's whips here. He said, why defend your house with something that you have to reload and go through ammunition? Use a whip, you don't have to reload it. Of course, my wife immediately said, we don't have to reload our axes, swords, or spears either, and that's true. So,
yeah, I also told our 11-year-old to grab the camera so we have video footage.
Yeah, I don't think this would be my first choice indoors to defend the home.
I didn't say the whip, I said the axe.
Yeah. Now, outdoors, I could easily see this scare off your average, person that's just not that serious.
One person was asking about the Russian Cossacks using whips as weapons or other warriors.
Oh, the Cossacks using whips?
Cossacks, yes.
Yes, they used a leather-type flail, and I think they used some whips. I would like to test this out too in a Zorro-style thing, where you would combine, let's say, a Spadaroon or a rapier-style sword, some type of small sword, and the whip to fight with, because you always see Zorro do that type of thing. And not only just do the video on how damaging this whip could be on ballistics gel or flesh, but also see about it entangling and how it could be used, in further videos with an actual offhand weapon. Because I think that would be the superior thing. You would have the whip with its ability to entangle. You'd have the ability to reach out and get the guy and keep him back, kind of like a Kasarigama, but then you'd have the up-close weapon in the offhand instead of having it together. Of course, you could use, believe it or not, I thought about this too, there is steel in here. This is a steel rod. If you hit somebody with this, I'm guaranteeing you it would be like a blackjack. You could lay them out with the actual handle. Or use it to parry with like you would, although it might get cut if somebody hit something sharp. Or just parry or entangle the other guy and so on, like you would with any kind of quarter weapon.
Okay, wood green. Yes, we are aware that some places they supposedly put metal bits in the cracker, is what it is.
Yeah, what they do is they'll put like little, I thought of this, I may try this, we're going to experiment with it. I may put some little metal bearings or beads, and you put 2 knots to hold it in place, and that would increase the damage, or put one on the end, right before the actual part that causes the sonic boom. We might be able to do that and test it. I've heard of them doing that back in the old West shows. and breaking, because the later Old West shows they had Coca-Cola bottles, in bottles like that, whiskey bottles. They would use a little bead in there, like a metal bearing that had a hole through it, and put it. I think it wears the cracker out quite quickly, and they used to use horsehair crackers. This one's actually nylon, but it would allow it to break the bottle because that would give enough mass at the very end, so you actually have like a little mini flail hitting it. So yes, that would get that.
Widgren, no, it actually came up in some of the historical ideas. However, we're not sure if it works 100%. Hence why we're willing to test it. Anything we're not sure about, the best option is to try it and see if it works.
Yes. And like I said, I did check on a fantasy type idea. I did the Belmont chain whip with the ball on the end, which is basically a flail. So I have done that, so we know that works. It's not the same as a whip though itself.
Sweetheart, what he's saying is small metal bits and the tip for extra cutting power from a fantasy book.
We could possibly do that. I have heard people I've heard all kinds of strange rumors of putting small hooks on this. I've heard of all different kinds of things like that. So we could experiment with it. It's not going to hurt the whip if we don't actually hit the whip itself with itself.
We would love to do a cooking series, Kiatan.
We did at one time.
There is an evil one I was tempted to do where...
Yeah, we thought we got past it.
Taringo whakarongo.
Go watch your show.
Nope.
No.
Go drink your own drink, not mine.
You can't drink mama's drink. Sorry, go.
At the moment, the main thing I was thinking of teaching people is actually chemical...
There's tea right there, Neil.
Alchemy
there's tea up
predominantly.
there on the bar.
Which is more up my alley than Thrand's, and to do with actually making... turning
Right
nutty...
there. It's up there. Dude, it's right there.
The tea's on the bar, sweetie.
It's behind you.
Yalla. Taringo whakarongo.
Behind you. Sorry, I'm trying to tell them where the teacups, they love iced tea.
I've been making our own hand sanitizer, honestly, with the situation as is, where we turn
One moment.
a...
Talking with her.
I'm going to be cheeky. No, I've been turning our own hand sanitizer from basically 95%
I'm coming back.
Everclear to...
No, I'm not drinking this, guys. This is dangerous. You wouldn't want to sit here and just take shots of this. This is what we've been making our hand sanitizer out of. It's 95% alcohol. It's 190 proof. It'd be like drinking moonshine. Moonshine can make you go blind, literally, if you take shots of it. That's why people take little sips. They sit there and they wait, usually drink other things, and see how it affects them. So I would not advise doing that with this. It would be very nasty. It'd be very hot and it would burn. You can make like your own vanilla with this. You can use it to make cordials, like means mixing it and cutting it heavily. You can mix it with different
Like you've
stuff.
been trying to get me to make
So
coffee
you
liqueur?
can use it to run a small engine with.
Coffee liqueur.
Yeah. So just to explain, it's good for actually using for hand sanitizer if you cut it properly.
It's
You gotta
on
get
the-
it down to
yeah,
about
it's on
80 to
the-
60% because you don't want to use it straight because it could. That depends on how
This-
sensitive your skin is. It
Aiden
could
was...
make your skin dry out and hurt your skin.
Aiden, this is 95% alcohol. That's the
Some
only thing
countries
that...
don't have Everclear though, because it's not legal to sell it, from what I understand it. But you can use it to make hand sanitizer. I don't recommend drinking it like it is. That's not what it's for, but it can be used to make stuff to drink with if you look up recipes on how to cut it properly. Like I said, and run a small engine off of it if you set the engine up right. It's that grade of ethanol.
No, we picked it up originally because we wanted something to be able to make hand sanitizer out of. Due to the fact that there wasn't a single store that had 99% isopropyl alcohol or any form of high-grade alcohol in stock. The closest thing we could find was either Everclear 190 or Bacardi 151.
This
Both
is
of
much
which-
better. This is stronger.
Both of which are high enough percentiles to supposedly kill it, but we're not sure. Yes, we're not sure, but we don't want to take the risk. And if you kill off enough nerve endings, couldn't it kill anything anyway? We don't. Honestly, we don't understand that part 100% ourselves. The high school content liqueur? What level is that one? Kiathan?
Is he talking about Everclear? Because they used to
No,
mix this
no,
stuff
he
with
said
Kool-Aid,
his-
and it's pretty
his
dangerous for a
father
Hawaiian punch. I don't recommend it
homemade
unless you know what
hand
you're doing.
Sweetie, you do know you misspelled. But homemade hand sanitizer out of high school.
It's hard to spell that.
Shut up. Out of. You don't know why you misspelled. No, shush. Shh. Out of high school content liqueur, which depends on what high school content liqueur is, though, Kiatan. Could you please close the refrigerator for now?
Yes, I shall. Left it open. I hear the alarm.
I'm glad that alarm's on it.
I came back not to be rude, and it looks like I'm being rude without meaning to. And I apologize. I am sorry if I seem rude in any way. I'm sorry the boys are stressing when we're trying to do a video live with everyone and speak, and they will come out and do their little thing.
But Kiata. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. No, I was laughing at the homemade band sanitizer.
Band
I'm sorry, Kiatan.
It's not his fault. It's probably spell
It's
check. Spell
spell
check does
check
that
most
to me
likely.
regularly, and I seem like a moron.
No, I swear it's a
Seriously.
drunk elf.
It's the drunken elf trying to help, and he will change anything, even though you spell it exactly right, put exactly what you want. It anticipates what you want to say, the predictive writing, I guess, or whatever it is. And it ruins the whole sentence. He can do it over and over again.
It's fine, Kiata. It's called the drunken elf syndrome. I swear.
Yeah.
That spell check keeps fixing things for you that don't need to be fixed.
Right, you
most
can
of
put
the time.
exactly what you mean, but it goes, oh no, they didn't mean that. That word hasn't been used in
Kiata.
200 years. So it puts something modern and just totally ruins the whole sentence.
Kiata,
Trying to do historical.
trust me, everything is that way.
I hate writing about history. I hate
Especially
it. It will
on
mess it
your
all
cell
up.
phone.
Every single thing you write will be wrong.
Especially on your cell phone. I'm sorry, I've watched some of the messages Fran sent from his cell phone,
Meow.
and it gets real. Is our cat inside again?
Yes, I'm trying to make sure Meow has the drink that he wants and he's in watching TV.
Good luck. Yeah, I apologize about Fran. He's trying to deal with our 5-year-old. Unfortunately, he's a little bit more fidgety than usual due to the fact that his birthday hit right at the beginning of the quarantine.
And I apologize for leaving for a moment. I apologize.
But no, Kiatan, the drunken elf stuffs with everyone, trust me.
Most
Never
certainly.
trust the drunken elf.
Most
Never trust him.
Is anyone else speaking with us right now? How many people do we have on? Caddy's watching for me. She's helping.
Rogue, Jen, and Kiatan are the most most
Talking to
common
people.
to talk.
Well, if I know Kiartan has lots of ideas. If you have any ideas on the whip and how to test it as a true weapon, let me know, because that's the whole idea. I want to see how to be used as a weapon, as defense,
Aiden,
not just as something to scare animals with or a herding type thing, or for driving horses and stuff like that.
Aiden, I've never told anyone to duck off. I have a real bad language, honestly, myself. So everything goes to the worst word on that.
Yeah.
And yes, Woodgren, I've had it set to foreign languages randomly, but not 100%.
Oh, I see. The reason
And
the reason the camera's
Rogue-
moving on y'all is she's using the other computer to try to go through and make sure we got everybody scrolling to make sure we got everybody's
And they
questions
ran
and
out of
answers,
alcohol.
because that's part of the reason we're here for is question and answer. It's
Yeah,
not just
they
for the
don't
review,
drink.
which like I said, just so everybody knows, the Shiner Weisse N Easy. I gave it a 4.5.
That's
Four and a half is a
interesting idea,
beer in
Harper.
general, but I say it's at least a 5 or a 6 all the way up there for a light beer. Because if you want something light and something that's low carb and that won't be bad on a keto, which I do a keto or a low carb diet, 90% of the time it's always keto, especially right now during the situation, I like the ale. It's an ale. Technically, Hefe Weissen is an ale.
Yeah, we've got 3 of them, Rogue. Unfortunately, the hardest time is for the 5-year-old. His birthday literally hit right at the beginning of the quarantine.
Yeah. And or self-isolation. I don't know if it's quarantine because I don't think we're sick, but yeah.
They cut off the birthday cake orders, everything a few days before his birthday. So me and his brothers ended up making him a cake and everything for him, but still. At 5 years old, you don't really understand what's going on right now. We will have a look into the flat sheet ballistics gel. That could be an interesting idea. We're just trying to figure out how to put it up.
Right now, we can't get coconuts. If he hasn't heard that from the other one, one of the reasons I haven't
no,
done no
Love Road-
analog heads is because for some reason these people buying all the toilet paper decided that coconuts were very valuable as well and bought all of them. I don't understand this. I mean, there's fruits and vegetables that no one ever eats, and expensive lamb and stuff, and we've gone to the store and seen it gone.
Water. You didn't know the new genies like the coconut water because it's so special.
Yeah, but the thing I don't get is why would you buy up expensive lamb from like New Zealand? And it's so expensive, it's ridiculous. Most people don't even like lamb, and they bought it all up.
Nobody buy the lamb up here.
They bought it up at the meat market. I saw that. I was
You
shocked.
do realise they don't import lamb to the meat market and round the corner from us. The only place that imports the lamb here is Sam's Market and Sam's Mart, and they still have lamb.
Oh, okay.
I'm
So
just
that was
going-
local lamb that was bought up then we saw.
Oh, yeah.
But still, it was all gone. I've never seen anybody buy that much lamb before when that happened.
Yeah, the only
Everything was
lamb
missing.
that was still there was the Aussie lamb.
Yeah. But
Sorry,
saying,
Aussies.
but just saying, the thing I'm saying is I saw them buy stuff up you wouldn't normally buy. It's insane. You know, it's ridiculous. But the coconuts, I have no clue. I mean, I use them for my heads. I don't usually drink the coconut water in them or
The
the
kids sometimes do.
I do some. I've done it sometimes, but usually I don't. I just
With
use them for the skull part itself.
I might see what Thrand thinks of that. We've got some old jackets that we've got to throw away anyway, so it might be a good idea. But the problem is our dummy that we've got is very, very hard, plastic-wise, remember?
Right, we're going to put the entire front from about here, like cutting across the chest area, down to the waist. We're going to be putting a special container or compartment
but what
to put the
he's
gel in, and it
saying-
will be shaped like the mannequin, so it's
Sweetheart.
not just a block.
Can I? What he's saying is what we could do with the whip is get an old jacket and put it on a dummy to test it. But we were actually looking at cans already at TSM space. And
We're going to
Thrand-
try to cut through cans, which is a common feat that a lot of
Thrand
people
is
do.
going to try cut through cans.
Maybe break some
Remember,
bottles
this
if
is
I can try a
not-
bead on there or something like we were talking about, because that's an old myth that they used to put a little bead on here and we're able to shatter
Remember,
bottles.
this is not a weapon that he's as practiced with as swords.
I do like whips. I do play with them, and I can do
Yes,
some,
you've been playing
some-
with them since you were a kid and
Yeah.
heard of Indiana Jones.
Yeah,
It was
I've
just-
made my own whips before.
Yeah, don't bring that out here, please. It's falling to pieces. It's
I
going-
know. I just keep it as nostalgia. It rotted and fell apart.
It's nearly 30 years old.
Yeah.
We are probably going to look into water bottles. However, the problem is at the moment, trying to get a hold of water bottles is difficult. And honestly, we're the sort of household we get the 5-gallon bottles, not the little 500 milliliter bottles.
No. We can use. We have bottles that we can use. We could try see what a little bottle as well. It'd be interesting.
Okay.
That's something. I haven't seen bottles. I've only seen. I've seen them cut. Basically full soda cans. You know that haven't been opened. They actually cut
Once
this
we
straight
finish testing the setting up the dummy, yes, we are thinking of working on some armor tests. Mainly because we would love to see how it works with this particular
The
dummy.
Kikogani dough is one of the things. The dough. We're going to be doing that.
Due to the fact that, remember, this is the last dummy we had was, of course, made out of fiberglass, which fiberglass breaks
Splinters. Yeah.
and splinters quickly. This one is a hard plastic similar to what you would find in a milk bottle.
All right, a barrel, like the barrels, the AVS plastic that people used to make armor and the SCA and stuff. It's a very flexible plastic, and actually, if you poke a hole in it or puncture it, or penetrate it, as Matt Easton would say, it will start trying to seal itself up and even hold the weapon in sometimes when you try to pull it out. So that's a good attribute to the actual mannequin or dummy, because if we hit something that doesn't have gel in it or is not set up for it, it's less likely to destroy it. It lasts much longer getting holes in it. Let's say whatever we do with it, shoot arrows into it, thrust it with a sword or a spear, anything we do with it, it's going to last a lot longer, which is a good bonus than having something that's fiberglass that keeps cracking and we have to try to repair it.
And worse and worse and worse.
Right, and plus I hate the fiberglass the way
The issue with the fiberglass dummies was the more damage they took, the more they ended up falling to pieces.
Correct. And it was a female. Now we have a male that looks like a muscular male. So no one can accuse us of attacking females anymore. I liked our Valkyria, our Skjaldmare, our Shield Maiden, but most people didn't like the idea of it being a female body. So now we have a male mannequin with the armor.
Woodgram wants to know if you've ever tried to make a cat of nine tails.
Cat of nine was usually a torture weapon. It wasn't something, I shouldn't say a weapon. It's not really a weapon. It's more of a torture device. Something they've used for that type of thing. It was used to flog sailors. It was used in the early period. They believe it was kind of like a cat o' nine that was used during Christ's time, or people portray it as that. It was something to flog people with. So I don't know. No, we haven't made anything like that, but you never know. I mean, I've seen it in like fantasy settings. If you like stuff like Dungeons and Dragons, there's certain demons that carry those and stuff. So it would be interesting to make one with extra long, I guess, lashes or braids, like thongs or something, and put something at the end that was damaging. Be cool to see on a target just to see what it does. I mean, hit ballistics gel with it and see if you actually see the kind of damage you would expect from that type of thing. That might be interesting, or see if it has any weaponized use. Could they were extra long? Could they actually entangle stuff, or would they confuse your opponent enough if you were lashing out with them to, like it would flail at them, hitting with multiple, like up to 9 different hits. Might be interesting. Might be an interesting thing. I like the idea. I don't see how it would, historically, other than it being used as a torture implement. Usually, like I said, aboard ships is where we know the cat o' nine was mostly used during that period when you have like sailors and pirates and stuff, to see what it does. I mean, that would be interesting to see what it does on ballistics gel. Put cloth on it too. I mean, if somebody was still wearing their blouse or their jerkin or their shirt or something, what would it do if you hit it? Might be entertaining to see if it goes through and so on. I think it would definitely cut into ballistics gel if you had us, because they would have had little sharp, jagged pieces of metal at the end and stuff like that. On the traditional ones that were torture implements. It could just be leather, but I doubt it. I don't think that would be the way.
Actually, TSM space, it depends on the type of whip to generally if they were used around the horse. The idea was that if you hit it, cracked it in a certain direction from the horse, it would make the horse go faster or slower.
They can hear the sonic boom from it, and it scares them. So like a stock whip or a whip that would be used on a, what are they called? Like a I'm trying to think of the proper term, a coachman's whip or something, which is a lot like a stock whip, which has a longer handle and a lot of times has a thong. It has 2 pieces that are leather to allow it to be more flexible than a bullwhip. That's what it's used for. It's used to drive the cows or the cattle, or even the bullwhip's used to herd with. I mean, you can use it to herd with. Hence the name bullwhip. I mean, it's like something you scare lions back, and so on. A lot of times they use stock whips for lions and stuff too. They do not hit the animals with them. That's the big myth. You do not hit an animal with it normally. It's just the sonic boom and the threat or the fear to the animal that causes them to behave.
We would love to look into some of the combo techniques of video and see how they work over time. However, it will take a little bit of practice due to the fact that, remember,
I put it in the room with you.
Dad put it in the room with you, sweetie.
A lot of good that did. No, I put it right in there next to him while he's sitting there eating his chicken.
He's not paying attention. You didn't realize that? Hello, he's 5.
I know. I was trying to make sure he was entertained and could come get his and stuff.
Yeah, he's busy watching his YouTube videos on video gamers and or cartooners.
Yeah, the main reason I'm back is, like I said, I already pretty much reviewed this, the Shiner Vice N Easy. It was just to come back so I wasn't rude, because I always like to say farewell to everybody. I like to say bye. And a few people didn't get to tune in that wanted to and asked if I was going to be back up, so here I am.
Aiden, especially that one, mainly because the fact that he's somewhere between me and Thrand. Elder to the eldest one's like me, the middle one's like Thrand, and the baby's like us combined, literally. He's gonna come out of it. I told you.
I'm talking to people online.
But
drink the TT's right there. You can't.
he doesn't want that soda.
We're live. Like, you can't come out here and just hang out.
You think he minds?
Sorry.
You really think he minds?
Probably not. I'm just trying to also do this because I know right now the live videos seem to help people because we can't get out and hang out with all our friends. So I wanted to be able to hang out with all my friends and viewers and have a little fun and be able to talk and not feel like we're just stuck here in the house.
I just wish he could hang out with his friends.
I know, it's hard.
Unfortunately for our 5-year-old, he had started school this year, and with the situation being as is, he hasn't been able to go to school for a while, so he misses his friends.
Yeah.
And of course, the elder ones are similar, mainly because the fact that the eldest and the youngest had their birthdays during quarantine. Oh, honestly, they both had their birthdays during quarantine, and neither of them could have their birthday parties. So
It's actually pretty much isolation. I know they call it quarantine, but if you're not sick,
close enough.
it's isolation. It's quarantine if you're actually sick. I think you're sick.
Yes, but still, for them, it's, and considering the place that they wanted to go.
Oh yeah, they wanted to go to one of the trampoline halls, extreme jump, and we like going there. I like going there and jumping and climbing and doing the ninja course and all that kind of great stuff, and doing flips on the trampolines and playing dodgeball. But after the situation popped up, I decided, even though it was still open for a few days before they closed it down, that we could have made it. I decided it was probably a bad idea.
Unfortunately,
There's no way to clean foam pits and stuff. It's just not plausible.
Unfortunately, Dubs, we don't really hear much from Algram. He moved to Florida a few years ago, and last thing we heard, he was doing really good. He has a lady of his own and 2 beautiful pit bull puppies.
And
Of course,
recently
one of
I
them-
saw a post, he was kayaking by himself, because I'm sure they're not allowing, just like here, they're not allowing people just to go out and fraternize with other people, but he was out in a wildlife refuge kayaking with a kayak his lady got him. So that looked entertaining. It looked like he was having fun. He put some videos up, or not videos, but I guess pictures up of it.
Kiata, honestly, very little in our life has changed either, except for the fact that now I'm a stay-at-home teacher.
Yeah, and your camera's moving everywhere.
Yeah, and I'm about to ready to kill all 3 students, strangle all students because of the fact that they will not listen to the fact that they're meant to do their work.
Yeah.
Dubs, yeah, Algram, the last thing I heard of, he was doing really good with Duke and Duchess and his lady. But I don't know much more about what's going on with his life
Yeah.
now.
You can't.
Do you want to go say hi? Meow, go over
No.
next to Daddy.
No, you don't need to be over here.
And he'll be fine next to you.
Okay, come on around and say hi.
Say hi.
Hi.
Yeah, that's Meow. But anyway, go watch your show. Let us talk.
Go watch your YouTube videos.
Yeah.
And shut the
I
doors.
think that's what it was. Is she
Shut
was
the
curious
doors,
what
please,
all
monkey.
the hype's about and why we're so excited to talk to everybody.
Don't want that.
That's the weapon master Niao, and we call him that because he loves anything he can pick up, like swords,
Sharpen's
axes. Yeah, you know, and he's good with them. He can beat his brothers, and they're bigger than him in sword fights with his foam swords and stuff. It's pretty entertaining. He knows to hit the person, not to hit the sword. So that makes it real entertaining when they try to play fight with him and they think they're going to touch swords. He ends up hitting them. I taught him.
It makes it more funny when he does it to you.
Oh yeah, no, it's not me right. I need a cod piece.
Quite often.
Yeah.
But no, Kiatan, a lot of us, I hate to say it, with modern social media, very few of us, that wasn't him that eviscerated the snowman of it all.
No, that was
That was actually an
Garrick.
8-year-old. Which he's in the other room. We have a 11-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 5-year-old.
Yeah, and the 8-year-old's the one who used the
Sword to kill this woman.
a wakasashi. And it's a real wakasashi, a very well-made one. It's just unsharpened. So everybody, the soul man didn't take a sharp blade to cut up. So I figured it was fair for him to be able to use it if he wanted to. Plus, he has his own wakasashi now. That's a lower quality one that was given to him as a gift, and I let him
By
keep it.
his
'Cause
adopted uncle.
He is actually responsible enough to have one that's unsharpened. I mean, that doesn't mean it's not dangerous at all, but he's responsible enough to have it and take care of it and not do anything silly with it or hit anybody else with it or anything like that.
Honestly, Rogue Jen, the only thing that really changed for the boys was they had to try track down their classmates. My eldest son tracked down a few of his classmates' theme part names and stuff like that, so that they could play with them. Now,
Go on.
Rogue Jen says hi. He wants to say hi now.
Hi.
Hi. You can wave at him.
You can wave.
This is Niall, the weapon master from the sagas.
Now he's gonna hi.
Okay, go ahead, go watch
Go
your
play.
show.
Please, can you close the living room doors? Taringo whakarongo.
Please go shut the door so they don't hear the TV bleeding through, because that's not polite.
And the wakasashi
It's okay for you to
was-
have it, but you have to have the door shut.
They're going to come in and out, unfortunately. As you know, you can't exactly control children. They will do somewhat what they please. Until you threaten to duct tape them to the roof.
I hope everybody's enjoying the chat tonight. I'm doing my best here to try to have some fun and hang out with everyone and not be alone in this situation. Everything's been going. But we will be doing videos because I can film in my backyard. There's no problems with that. Like I said, I think
only
I could
problem is
actually
finding
go out and
coconuts.
do the video at a park if we were secluded, as me and my wife, and I go do my thing and she films me. But I don't know what they would do. You never know. You never know who's going to encounter you or park wildlife and decide, you're breaking the quarantine stuff. Shouldn't be out here doing that. You're filming a video.
The issue isn't that. The issue is we have to take all 3 children with us too.
That's true. And then the other thing is, I know Raffaello. I'm almost positive. Metatron, must even know the we're supposed to be doing a crossover with our mobility test, like we did before in the past, but do it with the Kikogani doll, because I got Michael Astorita to send him as one as well to testing, and he's very excited about it. We planned on doing it together. It would be kind of rude for me to do my end and not have his end and put it together, because that's what we plan on doing. Is putting a video together.
Yeah, go put
Even though
asterisks on.
He's in Italy, and we're here. It still gives us that chance to work together and share footage and make our own videos. We're going to make our own version. Both of us will have a videos. He'll put one out, and I'll put one out this time. Instead of last time, he has the whole video on his channel. If you want to see the entire Tosei Gosoku Yodari, which was the later century plate armor from the samurai, you have to go buy him and watch it. I do have a video telling you to go watch it at his with a little extra stuff I did that was not in his, but he's the one who has the main video on Metatron's channel.
I would love to be in that place situation still. Unfortunately, I'm not. Ovid, thank you. We will probably do more mobility tests, so we'll still be Thrand mainly because honestly I suck at gymnastics.
Caddy actually was in the video. If you look, she fights me at the end and actually does beat me.
And I do climb trees and stuff, but I can't do gymnastics.
A very light HEMA style sparring, wearing the full Yarati with the weapons, and technically
can't do
it's not a
gymnastics,
joke.
and I
When I
suck
fall
at it.
down, I felt that she actually had landed a blow that would have killed me. So
Yes, but
Yeah, I mean,
still
it was us
fucking
actually
can't
sparring.
do gymnastics. I swear, I can't
you did do some
gym-
climbing and stuff in it.
Yes, I can climb trees and fall out of them, but I can't do gymnastics.
So she wore one of the suits of armor, and
I
wore
can't
the
do
other.
flips.
The
I
actual
can't do handstands. I can't.
Tosei Gosoku.
No.
Well, it also shows how lightweight the armor can be.
Oh, it is.
The only difference is if you were to have the Tamashi Gosoku, which means that it was tested against one of the matchlocks of the time period, the whole armor wouldn't be super thick. That's not true. Having the whole thing from head to toe super thick. But what would have happened is the dole, the front and back possibly, could be extremely thick, up to almost 3 millimeters thick, and so could the hachi. So that means your head would be protected, like modernly, when you're wearing a helmet in the military, and you're wearing a flak jacket, the body would protect it. But of course, arms and legs and all that stuff would be lighter protection. It wouldn't be as great as probably even full plate armor. It'd be close, but not to the same degree.
Unfortunately, Rogue Gen, no, we didn't get to yet. Thrand and Metatron were talking about it, however, with everything coming up the way it was.
Yeah, Metatron just got over an illness and
No,
got
no,
on
no,
a
no.
plane coming back from America.
They were asking, did you get to chill with Metatron while he was in the States?
I did not get to hang out with him, though.
That's what I was trying
He's
to
been
say.
seeing his lady, but they're not close enough in the States to just travel here. He had planned on coming down. No, he had actually planned on taking a bus while he was in America and coming down to Corpus Christi, Texas, and hanging out and doing a few crossover videos. He honestly planned on that. Matter of fact, I've even talked to Matt Easton, and Matt Easton was talking about trying to make a trip to Texas when he gets a chance and hang out here for a little while. And that'd be
of course,
awesome, but
we've had
under the
the other
circumstances now, I don't see how it would work out when we can't even travel state to state right now.
We've
Most of them will
also
stop
had
you.
conversations of traveling to Europe ourselves, but the hard part with that one is, like we said, with the situation currently as it is, there is limited to no contact and traveling.
I have friends in Australia that help run the medieval shop, and what they were going to do is have me come down there and go to all the Ren fairs there, but they've canceled all of them. Just like they've canceled everything here, they've canceled all
Yeah,
the...
I swear, if
all
you
the
go
SC
to Australia, I'm going with you mainly because I want to get. Yeah.
Yeah, but they've offered to pay my way, is what I'm saying, for medieval shop.
be
To go
honest-
down there to document all the historical events, the Renaissance festivals, and so on, because they frequent all
My
those.
apologies.
Right, and I wanted to also say that I have also, Neil Burge has offered to set me up there and take me to the Museum of London for the new bronze exhibit they're going to have me go and hang out with him. I wasn't supposed to bring that up.
I don't think so.
I don't think I was supposed to bring that up, the bronze exhibit, it's not announced yet. But
They
anyway, he
haven't
wanted me to
even,
come see
they're not
that.
even sure about that even yet.
Oh, and Ian Coote, he's a archer. He wanted me to come there too, and there's other museums he wanted me to come see in England. So yeah, I have lots of people, including Roland Vorzeka has invited me when they have their Viking events to go to that as well and go up with Author Foundation with him, but in Europe.
And if we make it to Australia, we are trying to also go visit what
This plague, what we've got going on right now, has stopped a lot of this stuff
Unfortunately,
from coming to pass.
can I?
Yeah.
If we do end up going to Australia, we're also trying to hoping to try to take the boys to go visit family members who live in Australia and New Zealand.
Yeah, that would be a good thing. That'd be awesome.
Heading
It's a beautiful
over
country,
under the
beautiful
main.
area.
That could be interesting at Ironbat, actually. Whether padding would be better over or under male.
There's, we've seen depictions where they wear it over. We've seen it where they wear it over, and we see it when they wear it. You know what I could do? That would be a good subject for an entire video. No, it'd be a good subject for an entire video. I have mail, and I can improvise something that would act as a gambeson or an akiton. And like Todd's workshop said, an akiton and a gambeson might have been slightly different. One was more of a padding thing, and one was more of multiple layers of cloth. Gambesons is multiple layers of cloth, up to 30 layers. In my opinion, a gambeson could have some padded layers mixed in. Modern gambeson, they call it gambeson, is actually more of an akiton. It's a cotton batting, more like a really heavily stitched quilt. So what we could do is try both of them. And they've even tried that over armor and noticed that the arrows didn't splinter as bad. I think Todd's workshop did. And that they get stuck in it and don't flap and hit you in the face, which they could have worn stuff like that over their actual plate. That could be a reason. But we could try it over mail. Put the mail on the outside, put the mail underneath. In my opinion, the gambeson works better under the mail. But I haven't tried it, so I don't know for sure, but I'm going to be honest. In my opinion, they may be very similar. They may have almost the same results or different attributes, like maybe the arrow wouldn't skip up and hit you or something if the gambeson was on the outside. But with the mail over the gambeson, I think you protect the gambeson or the cloth more. Meaning, you might damage the mail, but your cloth would be less likely to get damaged. Whereas if the gambeson's over the mail, It may stop the same degree. I don't know. We have to try it. It may not stop the same degree of penetration from different arrowheads and types, because remember, you have cutting types, you have bodkin types, and gambeson works better against bodkins. So putting the gambeson over the male might work better against certain types of bodkins to protect you.
Okay.
The male.
Padding over and padding under without male punches through with male.
It'd be a good test.
Enough padding, ripping, then padding tension protects rings. Just thinking.
Yeah, you could. That's the truth. You could have some padding under it, a light layer, and a light layer over it. I don't know how hot that would be, but you could try different things. You could have the male in between. You could have a male on top. You could have the male underneath. That would be an awesome subject in a video to cover, and have actual gambeson like most people buy nowadays, which is no more than 2 to 4 layers of cloth with some padding in it, some batting, quilted really tight, or have a bunch of layers of cloth. Because another version of gambeson, and everybody thinks it's quilted, it could just be a bunch of layers of cloth, like 30 layers of cloth that are tightly together so it's not too bulky. So it can have little, divots in it to hold it together, or it can be stitched. But the cloth itself, I think, acts more like what we call gambeson. It acts more like ballistic material, like a ballistic vest made out of Kevlar. It's the same idea, a bunch of layers of cloth. So we could try it. We could try all the different
You were
variations.
also asked if you thought about doing a video on medieval locks and padlocks. The only thing about
I have a padlock.
The only thing about medieval locks and padlocks is remember that there is a very simplistic tumbler system compared to current locks and padlocks out there in this day and
The
age.
pentumbler design actually goes back to the Egyptians. Pentumbler
Yes,
idea.
but you have to remember the pen and tumbler system is a lot more simplistic back in the day due to the fact that you could only
Correct.
get so many.
And a lot of things are
calculations on them.
warded keys are very simple keys that slip in,
Yeah,
and they just move some keys, like on Viking Age locks. The actual shackle has some spring-loaded areas in there, and you just stick a warded key in and slide it up, and if it slips in and slides up, it pushes the little wards and allows you to pull it out. So some of those are that simplistic, some of them are way more complicated. I do have a medieval lock that they just brought up that I haven't reviewed from Medieval Shop that was sent to me. It is based on a medieval lock. I could review that lock, but then bring up other types of locks and show the diagrams and stuff. If you're interested in that, I am a locksmith by trade. I mean, that's what I trained to do for most of my life. So what I could do is I could do some historical research on locks and get the actual time periods each one was used and who used it, and maybe show the diagrams and stuff, but then I could also review the actual lock that I do have and what period it fits in.
Table.
Oh, sorry.
There is a couple of people who would be interested in seeing that. So
I will do the lock video. And I'm thinking about
Honestly,
redoing I have a
think-
folding knife, and we talked about pocket knives or folding knives and how far they go back, and we talked how they went back to the Iron Age and the Roman Age. The Romans had them and predating that. Then the Iron Age, they had folding knives.
Good evening,
I
Laura.
may redo that
Get
video
a good
because I
sleep.
know the sound was terrible in that video, and some people were saying they wanted to hear it. So I may redo that video, even though it's redundant. Some people may look at it and go, "Oh, you already did that, and I've listened to your video." I have a lot of people saying they couldn't hear it, so I may redo the actual video from the beginning.
I'll also be honest, I am looking into new ways to deal with sound issues. The problem is currently we're using a
wireless mic.
sound system that basically
Let me fix sound right now. I'm gonna shut those doors.
we wish we would, Rogue. Though, honestly, if we ended up in Aussie, most likely we'd end up in the Sydney area. The main reason why is I've got family around Sydney and Brisbane, which is both similar region, but no, I know they're not the same exact cities or the same exact regions, but they're close enough together that I could visit most of my family, and the boys could visit their uncle and their great aunts and stuff like that. But Frank could also talk to people that he's dealt with
I
over
see it's
time.
lag, so you can't see when you're doing that. I just figured that out. I was still
Stop you.
sitting there when I came back after I got up.
You didn't realize that?
No, I just realized.
There's been a few minutes, there's about a minute and a half lag between the
Oh, so you
cell
can't
phone
see
and
if
the
you're
camera.
jerking or moving it or anything. It's like, I mean, it's saying you can't see it live. I was thinking you could see what you're doing while you're watching it, so it'd be easier to focus.
Did you realize? No, I'm using that to be able to see what's going on in the bloody chat.
No,
I
no,
told
no, no,
you
no, I'm not
that.
complaining. I'm just saying I thought it was all simultaneously
Oh,
in my mind.
Lo,
In my
I
mind.
don't think Fran would have a problem picking that lock. Honestly, it's rather simplistic compared to the modern pin tumbler systems that they use in the Schlag and
It's a
even the
warded-
quick sets.
Yeah, it's a warded padlock. Something like a Yale or something, not something like that. And then you get into school with mushroom tumblers, like the high security tumblers and stuff. But then if you get something like a Medico style lock or something, they're supposed to be unpickable. There's people who have picked them, but they're considered unpickable. Sidebar locks are considered almost unpickable unless you can find some way to get in and push on the sidebar. You almost have to drill a hole in the
But
lock
to
be able
finish
push
what I
it.
was saying, Rogue, I would love to get back around to that site region, but still, I like being an American man because the fact that if I do have to do anything to protect my family, I have the right to.
Yeah, she's more of a Texan than anything else, I swear.
Especially in this day and age when
And
you
just
don't
so
know how
everyone
stupid
knows,
people are going to be.
in Texas, they made it legal to carry swords. I think most people know that, like any length.
Bronze knuckles.
Oh, brass knuckles, yes. That was a separate bill, though. The first bill was to make swords legal and blades. So that covered gravity knives, like balisong, butterfly knives, any type of
Nice,
switchblade, throwing knives. You can carry any of them. You can open carry them and have them on your belt or whatever. Do we see a lot of people doing it now? No, I've seen some people carrying machetes. Seen people carry, like a K-bar or I had a guy.
Yeah, loca.
Yeah, I've seen it, but the point I'm getting at, it hasn't increased it so much. It's just legal to do it. You can walk down the street with a full pole arm or spear, and as long as you're open carrying it, you're not abusing it or brandishing it or pointing it at people or something, you can legally do it. Just like you can legally carry a rifle. You might get stopped if you're walking somewhere with a rifle on your shoulder and ask what you're doing. You say, I'm going to my friend's house and I'm going hunting, or I'm going to the firing range, but I don't have a car. You can legally do that. If you have a permit, you can carry a concealed carried firearm if you have a permit and went and got your permit for it. And you're not a felon or a mental patient. It's not allowed one. You can carry your open carry a gun or conceal carry a firearm, like a handgun. So, I mean, we have a lot of freedom here, but they made a law because of a lady who tried to carry brass knucks to defend herself because somebody tried to rape her. She had like a Hello Kitty keychain. You see those security keychains, where it has some little lady fingers on it or points? And she got arrested for that. So our governor, Greg Abbott, went, well, that's not right. If other people can carry firearms, and we've allowed them to carry knives now and swords of any length, I mean, any size they want for defense, if they want it for that, she should be able to carry brass knucks. So they made the brass knuck bill, which covered blackjacks, brass knucks, any kind of club or cudgel if you're carrying it out walking down the street. I guess you could carry a mace if you want to walking down the street and say it's for self-protection while you're out jogging or walking at night with your dog. But they also covered tomahawks, which, believe it or not, for some reason the sword bill, since it has a handle on it, didn't cover tomahawks. So now, other than, I swear, and this may sound insane, other than jump rope that could be mistaken as nunchucks or nunchucks themselves here in Carpus, you probably wouldn't get in trouble for carrying damn near anything. And yes, they could probably get you for carrying nunchucks, which does not make any sense to me when I could carry a big old club with a metal head on it if I wanted to say I was carrying it to protect myself. But since the new laws, they've done all that, we haven't seen an increase in crime. I haven't seen that many extra people doing it. There's a few people that want to exercise their rights, and you'll see them carrying it, or just they want to carry something, so they do it. They know they can do it. But I haven't seen I know since they made it legal, I haven't seen like a large increase of everybody doing it. I even thought about doing a video carrying different swords on me, but carrying them elegantly and properly, and just going to stores and stuff and seeing what people did. Have somebody with a camera or something. Because legally you can carry it, but
The
they could ask you to
problem
leave
is
on
finding
private
a
property.
hidden
They could ask you to leave if they thought that you were
Actually,
intimidating.
Aiden, yes, we can take nunchucks around too. We can take around dang near any weapon.
Oh, nunchucks are included in that bill?
As far as I know, yeah.
I didn't think they were.
Yes.
Oh, okay. I know tomahawks are, and any kind of club, blackjacks. Blackjacks
How
are
are
the
they-
old-fashioned blackjacks like you see back in the day. The people carry in the pockets, the gangsters, and slap people up the side of the house.
Okay.
Blackjack, you can carry them.
Saladi. Hello from Texas to Hungary.
Hey,
The Crusader. Hello to Germany. And we'll enjoy. I hope you enjoy this later.
Hey, Germany?
Aiden, as far as we know, all of them would be okay in Texas. However, we're not sure exactly what the bill counts and what it doesn't between the two of them.
I do
There
know
was
on the
the-
blades and the axes and the blackjacks and the brass knucks and ladyfingers, the ones with the points on them.
Yes,
Yeah, I
but
know
the
that's
first bill allowed blades, the second bill allowed stuff like brass knuckles and stuff like that. We'd have to look into the exact limitations, and the problem is, it depends on how much of a pain in the butt your local PD wants to be.
You carry a staff with you. I know that, like a quarter staff, a bow staff.
Or that piece of metal pipe in the window.
Yes, you can carry it. That's I know that car's covered.
A video, the daily carry sword would be a bit more difficult. In my case, it's actually a little stabby knife. Mainly because in this day and age, I don't trust people. In Thrand's case, it might be a little bit more elegant.
Right, I was thinking of carrying some elegant sword around with me and see if people react to while you're just going and doing regular stuff.
No, your daily carry sword.
They can't get you arrested for it. Oh yeah. Oh, daily
What
carry
would you
sword.
want to carry around permanently? I know the kukri is carried around with us somewhat, but not 100%.
In the vehicle, and I have a sax that I like as well.
Yes.
It's one that's kind of a replica of the London Museum version, which is not a Viking age sax necessarily, but it is considered a sax and it's in the museum and it has fittings to it, which a lot of them don't.
But daily carry, which would you pick?
Daily carry,
The only-
probably a medium length sword like a line gun sax or something would be a good thing, or some kind of I don't know, like a blade similar to a gladius. Something like that would be good. If you were just daily carrying, I don't normally carry a
what
blade everywhere I
question would
go,
you
other
like
than
to
what I
ask,
carry in my
Saladin?
vehicle.
If you want to ask a question, feel free, Saladin. If we find it, distasteful, we may not answer, but 90% of the time we will.
I don't think most of our viewers or friends out there would ask something too distasteful.
Yes, but you know I'm going to say that
Yeah.
just in case.
Yeah, most of them are not rude and they're very good people.
The
And if
Falcons
they
would
did,
be
it'd be a
nice.
yoke. It'd be a
The
joke.
Falcons would be nice, however, remember we've got to be able to fit it
Oh,
into the
the
vehicle and
Falcons
stuff like
is,
that.
yeah, I would carry that anywhere, anytime. The one he made me, the later century one that they dug up from the grave, it seems like a hand and a half. That is some of the finest steel.
Yes, but you've got to remember, you've got to be able to fit it on you when you move.
Amanda Christian made that one, and I have the belt for it and everything. That's actually
Oh,
not
the
a bad
short
idea.
one?
Yeah, I should carry
Yeah.
that. That is excellent. It's got
No,
David-
you'll
I should
chop
start
somebody's
carrying
head
it.
off.
Now they've
You
got
will
me
chop
thinking-
somebody's head off.
That would, you got to think about it this way. Modernly, what could you run into? You
I
could
don't-
run into somebody who was evil wearing a ballistic vest. I think that would go through. We should test that one day. If we can get
I
one
don't-
that we can damage, I bet you the
No.
point of that would go through.
No, I don't. Honestly, the sword that I'd take if I wanted to get through something, I hate to say it, would be the big bad wolf's blade.
That's a good one for hacking, but the point on the Falcons, and especially the higher quality steel
But
than that
then would be the
later century
stabbing.
Falcons. Hey, I want to say something so everyone knows. I said that was 1 millimeter thick, the helmet that I pierced. I went back and figured out it was a 14 gauge helmet that I pierced. But I can't quite go back on the video and explain this, but the helmet that I actually pierced in the video.
Try them out for a second.
Why?
I'll be back in a minute.
If guys can
My
see me, I don't like to
apologies.
selfie myself.
My
but-
apologies.
Hey, just to explain this, if y'all watch the video where I pierced the helmet with that later century Falcons, that is a 14 gauge helmet. I found that out the hard way, and I was checking it out and went, wait a minute. I even looked back at one of my earlier videos where I bring it up. It's a 14 gauge helmet. I just assumed it was lighter gauge in my mind, and it pierced it easily into a coconut skull. So I think if it was close enough to the head where you hit it with that Falcons, the later Falcons that Amanda Christian sent me, the finest quality one that I've got. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with the first one I got, but it's a two-handed and it has a slightly broader point and it's not as tapered and doesn't have the exact same shape. The shape you put on that one, it would pierce 14 gauge steel. Now, would it pierce it deep enough if it was crested from your chest and maybe even thicker? Probably not, in a historical breastplate. But if you had parts of a helmet that were that thick, or the early Roman helmets that were probably 1 millimeter thick, I believe your opponent would not survive a hit from that if it was close to the head at all, unless he was lucky and it didn't hit right on or something like that. I can't see what's going on right now, Caddy's going to be right back, and she'll check the messages, so I apologize if there's anything popping up and I can't see it. Hoping she's coming back soon, because we had set this up where she was going to tell me the most prominent questions and what's going on and help me answer them, so that way she gets to participate too and so on. Because she's usually our camera woman, and she's also the one who ad-libs and puts information in, like kind of Elgrim used to do when it comes to certain information. That she has great ideas on experimental archaeology and such as well. And history. She's versed in some times of history that I don't have as much information on. So
I understand more about the Elizabethan area. Give me a second. I'm sorry, I've been sitting there for nearly 2 hours.
Yeah, I apologize, guys. I'm not trying to be rude to anybody, and I apologize about it ending earlier, and I apologize for my sons trying to come in and participate.
They're gonna try anyway. They like to be helpful.
They weren't upsetting me all so bad. I just didn't want it to bother you all out there.
Yes, but they want to help Daddy.
Yeah, I know. And I appreciated somebody earlier. I just want to say this. I'm not here asking for anything, but I noticed that somebody had just donated $5 to Patreon after I talked earlier. So if somebody's out there and they're listening, I highly appreciate that. And I hope you like the content that you're able to access. I'll try to repost that content because I realize it's been buried for a while. And there are some videos that I made specifically for Patreon. And now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably go on there, even though I'm going to make some more for that, and repost them all in a row so everybody who has, I guess, $1 or whatever they need to watch it can actually access it and see what I have up. Because I feel bad. I mean, if you all missed it and, it emailed you or you weren't a member yet and you didn't notice that content was available, I probably should post it all back to back so everybody can see it if you're a member on Patreon. Because I do have a Patreon. And I'm not saying that because I'm pandering or something. I'm just saying thank you for the $5 donation.
Okay.
Trying to catch up.
Yes, I apologize for this. I'm trying to catch up to what's been typed since I had to run off.
Caddy had to use the little girl's room, I believe.
Yeah, I've been holding on for about 30 minutes now.
I'm out of stuff as well. But
No, I'd been holding on to going to the little girl's room for 30 minutes. That's the problem.
yeah, this has been going a while since the other video, the Weisse N, and I give it a
Hey, I'm
excellent
not going to
review.
the restroom until I need to go.
As a beer in general, I give it a good review, and as a low carb beer, or a low calorie beer, it's the best.
A Glock 19 wouldn't be a bad idea, but still.
I do have a 9mm pistol, and if you've checked the old videos, I've actually used it to test some plate armor that was, 12 gauge? We realized that a 9mm won't go through 12 gauge steel, which a lot of breastplates could have been that thickness at the thickest point. So, in essence, in these movies where they act like a handgun would take out a medieval knight, unless you got lucky and hit just the right spot, he could probably rush you and kill you with just a handgun. I'm betting money on it.
And have a good one, Woodgrid.
Yeah.
No, he just had to leave.
Now, if you had a high-powered, as they call assault rifle, which it's not, it's just a high-powered rifle, I believe that would probably go through.
We do have a spud drone.
Yeah, I do.
But still.
It's a Confederate States Army one. It's a replica. But it's a Spadroon, and it's a heftier one, a thicker one than, like, let's say Matt Easton was talking about when he said that they weren't very good at anything. So it has a better thrust and it has a better cut. I have tested it. It's pretty decent. It's a heavy Spadroon.
I might think of doing a cheeky one. Video. If you're interested, I may do one of the characters that I was taught from karate, or Frank could do something he was taught in taekwondo. If that would get the more martial arts movements like you're thinking of.
Yeah, I trained in taekwondo.
I'm no good
I do Bujinkan Budo Taijutsu, and I've trained in Okinawan style karate and American karate. But now, am I a master in any of them? No, but I trained in them for years. Just to say, I have done that though.
Oh, if you get a strong enough gun, it will penetrate. The only thing is that sometimes the bigger bullet's not the best option.
It depends on how much velocity it has and the mass. That's why longbow arrows are able to pierce armor, where modern arrows have supposedly the same amount of kinetic energy, but they get stopped by different types of materials, even though if they were to hit flesh, they go just about as deep as the medieval arrow. They'd have about the same penetration on flesh itself. But when they actually hit armor, medieval arrows have more weight to them, so there's more mass and more momentum. So even though in theory, they're not as efficient, they still are able to do deeper penetrations because of the momentum and they're able to
Yes,
pierce
but they
them.
may also slow faster, is the issue.
This faster slows faster. The lighter arrow that travels faster slows quicker.
Okay.
I know it sounds insane, but like the lighter bullet
the Shattarian draw
that gains its power from the speed can also be stopped quicker depending on how much material is going.
Okay.
Where the one that's due to mass and maybe travel a little slower has more penetrating power or more
Salute
kinetic energy transfer.
May I? Salute Palata. The thing we noticed about the Shattarian draw as you're putting it is that, yes, it gives the higher poundage capabilities. It also
I was
gives
able to draw.
May I?
Yes.
It also gives a slight advantage to the speed of the draw. However, yes, it does limit the accuracy slightly. This is due to the fact that most people nowadays are aiming for a later Archery version of the draw where they aim directly down the shaft of the arrow. The thing about this is when you look down the shaft of the arrow to draw, you're going to get an accurate shot, which is more in time period with making sure that the bow hits the exact right mark. But the thing is, you may not have had the capable poundage of the earlier periods that you may have without the area. What we were thinking is maybe the older draw may have been used more for war, with the later draw, with it being in the what they believe is the modern view, may have been for accuracy and for competition.
Sport.
For lack of better version.
Right, because the whole thing is, let's look at it this way. In hunting, you can sit there in an area where you're hiding and you want an aim, and you'll use a slightly lighter bow normally than you would during a war. You don't want something going to draw back just at that moment and release. You would want to hunt with a bow that's lighter weight, so you draw it back, you can hold it
over 100 pounds,
aim, and then release when you need to, because you wait for the animal to walk right near you because it doesn't know you're there. And
war bow would be approximately 100 plus, 90 plus pounds, or 100 plus pounds. Yes.
Yeah. Some people say 70 and over is a war bow. But if you want to start getting into something that's really going to pierce male, at least 90 to 100 pounds, I'd say. If you want to pierce light male with something.
The thing about that is that once you get into warbow ranges, you're not so worried about exact targets. You're worried about, okay, here's all the enemies. We're going to be aiming into this cushion. You're not going to be aiming for an exact person. You're going to be aiming for a group of people.
And hope that it hits somewhere that it's going to be able to pierce. Because a thick enough breastplate, no matter what bow you have, I don't care. They've had Gibbs actually get up there where he shoots his 160-pound bow, and he's not able to pierce proper breastplate dead center. So that means you would have to hit in the voiders, where they have either just gambesons or mail. On the arming jacket, usually under the arms or down the sleeves, you'd have to hit somewhere area like that, and that would allow it to pierce. But you have to have a high-pound bow to do that. So my theory is on the Shad's draw, I guess, or what he's observed, or actually Lars Anderson originally said that's what Shattarian. The idea that you could draw a heavier arrow, which we see with the thumb draw. You see the Japanese do this. They didn't even supposedly have as high a pound bows, usually because they were made out of bamboo. They can't have other laminates, but they would have had 90 to 100 pound bows, maybe higher. We're not sure. I'm not saying that. But the point I'm getting at is they draw on the outside on the right side. They're extremely accurate. They're using a thumb draw. So my theory is, if that's all you did, you would get used to drawing on the outside. The fingers are different than the thumb draw, not releasing it the exact same way. So when you look at it that way, yes, if you get used to it, you can release it consistently and hit the target. And if you got used to that drawing and aiming that way, you'd probably get pretty accurate. Plus, since you're feeding it on the outside instead of feeding it through the bow, you can do it more quickly. That's why Lars Anderson prefers it. He's a trick shooter. He's using lighter weight bows. He doesn't even draw full draw normally, and he's shooting quickly, but he can have multiple arrows in his fingers and do it to go one right after the other, like a machine gun, pretty much, like the super archer, like Legolas or something. which I think is awesome. The man's really doing that. You can't put him down. But the thing that everybody argued about, nobody with a very high pound bow for war would do that. The point is, I can't see why you couldn't do it if you're able to draw the bow. The only thing that would slow you down is drawing the bow and releasing with the higher pound bow. And yes, it's somehow there is a slowness to that compared to trying to draw something you could draw really easily.
Okay.
I'm so sorry. But what I was going to say is the other point on it, I think in plate armor, which they've shown pictures where people have the lames, on the arms or on them, and they have the lames on the legs and the wings that come off on the cops.
The Asians do shoot on the outside of the bow.
Yeah, the right side. Middle Eastern and Asian archers shoot on the outside, not the left side.
The Japanese and the Middle Easterners will shoot on with a thumb draw.
I suck at thumb draw. I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I've tried it. I'm terrible with it. That's why I haven't tried to demonstrate that or anything with bows.
The only thing is that what you are having, iron bat, yes, the tip, not the shaft is in line. The thing about this is, what you got to understand is the more you do it, it also becomes instinctual to you as to where you're aiming at and what alterations you have to do to your shot.
Correct. I noticed I got more accurate as I kept playing with it, and I think that's what Shad's noticing too. So that's why he's saying that it's all advantage. There's no disadvantage.
The first day, Thrand had a few more problems than he did later on. Mostly the fact that he smacked himself in the arm and face, which was kind of amusing to me.
Well,
I'm sorry, that was just funny.
This is me being stupid and not really experimenting with it and going out there and trying to look. I tried to look down the shaft of the arrow so that I can see down the shaft of the arrow. Oh wait, the string is right here. No, you can't do that. It has to be over here. You cannot look down it. If it was here, it's actually an illusion. It's over here, so you're seeing the shaft, even though it's over here by your head. You're not going to hit yourself.
But it gave me a good laugh.
To look down it, you pretty much end up putting your face in the bow. And when you draw that way, you feel like you're pulling yourself into the bow. So since you're putting so much back into it and pulling yourself into the bow and the bow around you is how they describe in some of the old texts, and that's what it feels like, you're more likely to hit yourself with the string if you're not paying attention. And as for the arm, that was my own stupidity. After I got used to it, I never smacked my arm again. That was just a one-time thing. I didn't even really need the archer's brace or the band brace or bracer or anything after that. I really didn't.
I apologize about my finger going in the
I still wore it just in case
there.
because that was a mighty thump. I'm sorry. That was a bruise for a bit after that one hit.
Oh, it was funny as heck for me watching him get spanked. No, it was just funny as heck for me watching you get spanked in the face by that bow.
That barely hit me, but still. I was like, no, I'm not doing that again, boss. That's not what I'm doing. I'm not leaning. But I'm not leaning into the bow like that. I'm going to keep my head back when I release.
Yes, it would have been lower than 100 poundages on any battlefield due to the fact that, honestly,
not everybody could draw it.
You're going to have people who can draw a range of weights due to the fact that you'll have people who the biggest they've ever drawn is to kill a pigeon. And that was to feed their family. Right. To the higher warpo poundages, which were normally
they trained every Sunday and they're trained since birth and they were awesome.
Bingo. The idea was that when people walked onto the battlefield, they were handed a bow. They weren't necessarily handed a bow they knew how to deal with. Aiden, honestly...
Depending on how far you draw it, you get different... if you get at least 28 inches or so, 24 to 28 inches on some bows, that's enough to release an arrow, and it won't be the strongest the bow will go. You pull it to 30-something, 32 inches, then you have now a more powerful arrow. So
honestly, Aiden, a lot of the time, if you were called to war, they would supply you with the bows. However, it wouldn't necessarily be a bow that was crafted for you.
Correct. And the arrows not always match.
If
it just depends.
You were a stronger bowman, you may take your personal bow with you.
And you may have matched arrows to your bow that you crafted for it.
If you've ever paid attention, Thrand went from using a recurve bow, or two recurve bows actually. One was mine, which is about a 45 pounders. One was a friend's, which was a 65 pounder, and then he went on to the longbows, which we ordered in. And of course, they were a big jump too. The thing about that is you're going to take the strongest bow you can draw, not necessarily the strongest bow that they'd offer you.
That's pretty much true.
Due to the fact that that is the best weapon you as a person could offer. and your aim is to get home to your family safely and in one piece.
Right, and I think the ideal in the arrows weren't to take people out with one shot. Like I go out there and I'm Robin Hood and I'm going to pinpoint one spot and I'm going to aim and hit him right in the eye slot. That's not going to happen at long range. Your idea was to loose arrows into a group of men and maybe take the horses out, hurt other people who are armored as well or don't have full coverage armor, because some people could not have full plate armor, or maybe hit people in mail while other people are wearing plate. You could hit the guys in mail or gambesons, and use different arrow types for these different troop units that you're hitting. And then if you get lucky and you're shooting at the guys in full plate, hit them in their voiders and stuff where they have just mail. It's, lighter mail and padding, because you can't have all that under your arm. You're not going to be able to move your arm if you have too much stuff under here. You're not going to be able to move, around if you have too thick of padding and mail in these areas. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
So, Lottie, yes, there were periods, there were people who were recruited under the age or weaker or less developed and stuff like that. A lot of the time, if you were recruited and younger, you were put to try keep people alive a lot. But yes, there would have been people, younger people who were poor farmers who were put into spear positions and stuff like that. If you couldn't pull a bow to long enough thing, a lot of the time they would not put you on the front lines as archers. This is due to the fact that, remember, a lot of the time they were trying to limit the amount of time people that were killed on their side.
I'm sure if you couldn't draw over a certain way, they wouldn't think you were a viable archer.
Yes.
You couldn't reach the
but
ranges you need, and you couldn't.
think about it. If you had a
couldn't actually
15-year-old,
shoot an arrow that way
if you had a
and do
15 year,
damage to your opponent, probably.
if you had a 15-year-old who was basically on the equivalent of, what's that thing where you get selective, whatchamacallit?
Right, but there were 15-year-olds that were strong back then. There were some that were actually
selective service
or shield bearers and
yes, but even they
sergeants
wouldn't
and
be
stuff
put.
that were on the field just
even-
to help them, whether they actually fought or not, half the time.
Even they wouldn't normally be put on the front lines as archers.
No, yeah, that's correct. Archers were actually later century were something that was paid highly.
Yes, they would
for
most
good
likely be-
archers. Or
Normally, the archers would actually be a lot of the time, where there was pinpoint accuracy with family men. They would be hired as a family, or the family would be known for being archers.
correct. Now that makes sense. Yeah, you're right on that. Like the Welshmen and so on. A lot of them were Welsh archers. They made their own bows. They made their own arrows. Some archers were not that way, though. You are correct. Some of them were just given a bow. But I think that the left side shooting idea probably became the prominent style, if the other style was used, in the Victorian era. That makes sense to me. Around the Victorian era is when that started becoming prominent, because accuracy was the only thing that was valuable. Speed of loading, who cares? Super high weight, they started going to lighter bows during the Victorian era. Nobody shot over 70 pounds normally. So they were using lighter weight bows. They were shooting for accuracy, for sport, for hunting.
A lot of the time,
They wouldn't be as necessary to worry about wearing a bunch of armor and maybe your string getting in the way, or
it's fine, Salody.
speed of release or any of that stuff wouldn't be as big an issue.
May I,
to draw.
sweetie? Salody, it's much easier to talk than it is to type, trust me.
I'm sorry, I apologize.
No. The thing is, Frank can't see what you're typing, only I can, mainly because the fact that,
I think it was a viable style that some people used. That's what.
But
it probably wasn't the one that survived.
Sweetheart, he wasn't saying anything about the style. He was saying experienced veterans who are past their peak but accurate, but not to the limit needed on battlefield. Battlefield, the quirk with it is a lot of it was roll of the dice.
And not always were they shooting some volleys with a bunch of arrows. Sometimes they didn't. They lacked having a bunch of arrows.
May
They'd wait till
I?
somebody was close and try to hit something,
May I?
and they would aim. So yeah, that's especially
To
if
a
they have
degree-
a unit
May
that
I?
they're hiding next to or beside, or they could actually take those liberties and try to shoot at them because they had something between them and the enemy. That is possible. Or if they're over, between a
May
ravine
I?
or something. Yeah.
Please. Okay. What you've also got to understand is a lot of the time when they are shooting at the groups, sometimes they weren't aiming for the people. A lot of regions, they didn't armor all the horses.
And sometimes they were just.
And if you were shooting the horses or if you were shooting the horses that weren't in armor with the knights on top, they would take out your knights. not everyone could afford full horse armor as well as they could human armor. And that, I'm sorry, most people would put more value to human armor than they would knight or horse armor. The only thing about that is that no matter what, we don't know. Unless we had a time machine, there's no way of truly knowing what they fought back in the day.
Well, it's like the saga of Olaf Tryggvason. You've got the archer, and he's shooting arrows with such a strong bow, and this is Viking age, okay? This isn't later century longbowman, but he's shooting his longbow, which would have Viking age longbow. Most likely, could have been a recurve, who knows? I mean, I'm saying they did have some recurves because they dealt with them at least. Most likely it was a longbow, and he was shooting arrows supposedly so powerful they're saying they were sticking through the mast of the ship. They were shooting through shields. Not all shields are made even, though. Some shields might have been able to resist it, some weren't. They were going through shields and hitting people. They were going through people's mail armor and killing them. And he was just killing people left and right, and he was aiming from ship to ship in the battle, supposedly. So between ships, apparently, that would make sense. You get aim, and they're not that far away. They just can't get to you as they try to get across to you to fight. But he draws the arrow back, and finally, either his string, they don't describe exactly whether the bow broke, which is possible the bow could snap. Bows start having chrysalis in them sometimes and different fractures, and they'll keep using that bow, and it broke, or the string broke. But when it broke, supposedly the myth was, what in the story, what was that? When he hears the snap, the King Olaf asked him. That was the kingdom slipping from your grasp, is what he told him. Because that was his powerful bow, and no one else had a bow that was strong enough for this man to pull. Well, Olaf goes, well, you're my archer. Here, use my bow. So he gives him his bow. And supposedly he grabs one of his arrows and puts it in the bow, and he draws it back. It draws back past the arrow, the bow itself. Like he draws it way past, the. So apparently Olaf had a bow that was very weak, and the arrows were a shorter draw than this man was used to. So he went, no, this bow will not do. It's too light. It's useless. So apparently this was a very awesome archer that was very strong, and you're describing a later century archer in an earlier period in the saga. So that means they understood the value of a powerful archer using powerful heavy arrows and piercing armor and shields and stuff. And yeah, I have no doubt, depending on how the shields are made, because remember, there's no set standard in any of this stuff. There's no set standard in armor. There's no set standard on mail. It was what you had and what you had made for you and what you were wearing, that it's possible to pierce all that stuff. And it's also possible not to pierce all that stuff. It's possible for your shield to stop. It's possible for your... So nobody that's a mail fan or a shield fan freak out. I didn't lie to you. There's shields that will stop it. And there's armor that will stop it, even probably at that age. But you'd still be injured quite badly from getting hit with such a powerful bow. In any event, you'd still know you got hit. But a very weak bow, like people use modernly, like a 45-pound bow or 60-pound bow or something, for hunting with lighter arrows, you probably wouldn't know you were hit back then. I'm just being honest. You probably wouldn't realize unless they hit you in the eye or something, you wouldn't realize it was that.
We will look
powerful
into
of a
the
hit.
boiled or hard liver tests in the next few months.
I did something like that.
No, with the high poundage bows.
Oh, with the high poundage bows. I did something like that, but it was with the weaker bows. And I did the little pun video that was an arrow to the knee. If they ever want to look that up.
I hate that stuff. I'm sorry. Skyrim drives me nuts.
I did an arrow to the knee video just to do it for people because somebody asked me to do it. So it's up there if you look for it. I'd have an arrow. But that is a modern bow with modern arrows. So.
That was my bow, if I remember correctly.
No, that was the 65-pound bow I used.
Oh, okay, that's Wayland's?
I believe so.
Okay. Yeah, mine sucks.
Yeah. But still, it's not a war bow. It's on the verge of it.
Neither bows are.
Not a war bow. Not a true war bow, no. But it did stop some of the stuff stopped the arrows.
Hungarian archer's grave was found somewhere in Sweden with a reflex blow that they had interactions that they could get reflex bows from 9th to 10th century grave that was... I apologize, Saludi, you've cut off halfway through that. I'm trying to figure out...
Recurve or reflex?
Reflex.
Reflex.
Not recurve. Recurve bows, as far as I know, didn't come up till later period.
Composite? Does it mean a composite bow?
Reflex, he said.
Okay, well, if you do composite, what that is, that's where you take sinew or horn or something and you use a laminate and you back the bow with it. That's usually a composite bow.
Yes,
or a composite bow can be
was...
multiple materials, different types of, like I said, horn, bone, wood, ivory, stuff like that, depending on what country it is.
Herrarmen.
Sinew back bows are really common with the Native Americans to make them stronger.
Elaine, Thrand is somebody who's obsessed with history and finding out as much as he can because literally he feels like he's tied to it. Where I'm willing to stand beside my husband no matter what to find out what he knows. Honestly, I'm weaver, I like doing leather work and stuff like that.
I like making mail. I have to repair it
Yes,
regularly. even
but
if it's ripped.
you also like figuring out how weapons work and how they work best.
Yeah.
Both
If something's
recurve and
wrong when
reflex
they pop up and
blows,
tell you something was used and it's
biocomposite,
not
at least
viable, it won't
in
do
case
anything.
of
There's gotta be a-
Asiatic bows, in which Hungarian bows. Okay. Both recurve and reflex bow, biocomposite, at least in a case of Asiatic bows, in which category Hungarian bows belong to.
Composites, yeah.
In other words, they're all composites.
Yeah.
In a way.
Well, that's how you get to higher strengths normally in shorter bows and recurves and stuff like that.
And we had Aline ask us about the story.
I don't know what story.
Honestly, me and Fran met before he ever started the videos, but yeah. Horn, sinew, and wood, he's saying, for Saludi.
Yeah, horn. Horn.
Isn't that what's on the end of your bows? Is horn?
Well, yeah, but that's just the ends of the later century longbows. They did that, like whereas Viking age, you wouldn't have a horn at the end. The horn allows you to get to a more tapered tip, and it allows more, reflex or response. You know, like we're more, instead of having a thicker end where it has to be thicker to put the string on, which makes a thicker limb at the end, and then it's not as much like a whip, pretty much, to allow the spring or the
Do you think the
activeness.
Do you think the Irish recurve seen in Dura's gallo glass picture were composite or soft bows?
Oh, the galloglass, the galloglay. It's hard to tell from the drawings. I'm assuming they were influenced by the Middle Eastern bows, so I'm assuming they'd be similar in construction. That's just me.
Electric, I'm sorry.
I hope I
Goodbye.
answered that one right. I mean, haven't done a lot of research on it. But that's
Sweetie.
what I would assume.
That is not what this is about, sweet. Okay?
Okay. What happened?
We don't know exactly where the oldest bows came from due to the fact that it's very hard to track. A lot of the materials that you use for bows are very much deteriorate.
One of the oldest bows
No,
ever
no.
found was in a bog in Denmark.
Yes,
I know
but
that.
the
now
prob-
that's Denmark.
We
Danish
don't
bog.
know, though, due to
Right.
the fact that 90% of the materials used in bows will deteriorate over time. Wood, sinew, anything that you could use in a bow will deteriorate over time.
Right, but
So
one of the
we can only
oldest
have
bows
guesstimates.
found, I'm talking about a Neolithic age bow, was in a bog in Denmark. Now, were these the same Danish people or the Danes people that are there now? No, most likely. It was who was indigenous there at the time that made the bow. But it is like one of the oldest and strongest bows we've found that's in a bog in Denmark, and it's a long bow. It doesn't have the horn tips or anything.
Yes, but like I said, the problem is we don't really know what the oldest bow, or culture of the oldest bows would be, due to the fact that whatever we find, wood
Right.
deteriorates.
That was the oldest bow
Yes.
at one time, but I noticed I corrected
That we
myself
know of.
because I said the oldest bow that we know of, or that I know of right now, was in that bog. But there may have been something found between now and then. It changes regularly.
I'm going to be blunt. Wood deteriorates.
Yeah. Now, in proper conditions, it can survive longer.
Yes, it can,
That's what I'm
but
saying, it's about
still,
bog.
you know what? I'm right.
Correct.
It is
Bogs-
made out of natural. If it's made
Right.
out of natural materials, like it would have had to have been historically, it will deteriorate.
Well, just like iron develops a patina, like it is in a bog, like the bog axe I have, what happens is if something's in a bog, it's in an anaerobic situation, or since there's no air,
The-
it stops rusting or oxidizing.
Salodi, the
So they
only
can survive.
saber that I know of that we have is which one? Saber.
Oh, I have.
He wants to know if
Cavalry
you've ever
saber.
ventured into
Saber.
saber territory, and if not, do you plan to? Could you share your opinions on sabers, please? Your favorite saber type, or style, or type? The only thing is, a lot of the time,
I
sabers
have a
are later
Civil War
central.
saber. I don't have any
Yes.
others from any other period though.
The thing is, a lot of
A heavy cavalry saber.
the sabers that we own, a lot of them are later period than he prefers to be in.
Right, and they're also recreations. They're not actual historical ones. If I had some actual historical examples, which you can get those.
You'd
you
probably lock them in a safe just in case because you
Right,
want to
but
hit
there's
them
people
with
who
something.
use them and sharpen them and cut with them. I mean, they're not that rare from, like, let's say the Civil War, like the one I've got. But mine is an actual recreation. It's been created modernly as a reenactment saber, but it is based on their sabers and the same design and all that. It's just, I wouldn't know how you would compare it to the actual historical ones, even though they look similar because it's made with modern steels, not made exactly like the ones that they produce, because a lot of theirs weren't even found sharp. Some of their sabers, like during the Civil War, found sharpened. Some of the officers never sharpened because they never planned on using them. In their mind, I guess. They
Okay.
planned on using them.
Elaine, we love bows in our house. Honestly, we've started teaching our three sons how to use them. We don't homeschool them mainly because the fact that, honestly, I don't have the patience to
We're doing it now.
I have to because of the fact that they won't let them go to school.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'd end up strangling all three boys.
Is everybody enjoying the conversation tonight? How many we have?
We do understand that the bow is a very important piece of history. And the thing about guns is that, Eileen, I don't have the patience to deal with three boys all day long. I'm going to be blunt.
Right. No, I don't. We both try, but it's difficult.
But
It's nice when they get to go to school and somebody else gets to take care of them for a little while.
yes, we have been doing this for very many years, unfortunately. When we first started this, I was still nursing the eldest one when we first started this, to the point that, if I remember correctly, one of the first pieces of cut video we ever had was me throwing
You were nursing
axes while I was
Alar when he was
nursing.
little, and she was throwing axes, hitting the target right on. I had video of that.
You got upset because I hit them in the nuts, the guts, and the brains.
Yeah, each throw was beautiful. I swear, it was perfect. One right after the other with the axe. And then I thought about it. And I was like, putting it on YouTube, and I know she's so far away, the axe is not going to bounce back. She's like doing a couple of revolutions, and that was a distance away. And I'm like, they'd probably freak out thinking it was going to bounce back and hit the baby, or she would by accident or something, which is impossible. I mean, there's no way you'd be sitting there, throwing an axe and it'd come back and do anything, But, I got paranoid about it. I was like, that's a cool scene, but that's not going in the video, even though we filmed it while she was...
His idea, not mine.
No, I was like, no, I don't think that should go
To
in.
this day, I still sit there throwing shit in the backyard, especially when I'm in a bad mood.
Oh, she's great at hitting targets.
Especially when he leaves me half-empty targets to
If I
throw
cut a
at.
bottle in half or something and it's got water in the bottom, she'll throw knives in the rest of it. It's pretty hilarious. Just to stick them in it.
And then you'll sit there laughing because the fact that I've got in a bad mood throwing knives at it because the fact the computer won't do what I want it to.
Oh, yeah. I've seen that happen a few times. She loves throwing blades. She carries her throwing knives and do something.
But we started this about 11 or 12 years ago, and honestly, there's no plan to stop anytime soon.
Yeah, we did stop for a little bit, but it was more of a situation of this happened, that happened, and then this crap happened. At least I got the bow videos out that I meant to get out, so I'm very happy with that.
This
I'm gonna make
happened.
more.
Fran got paranoid that he was going to die because he's nearly 50.
I'm 48. I'm not going to lie to people.
And then
My blood pressure was getting higher and higher, and I was getting stressed out over this, so I started working out, eating better and stuff.
no,
and
I forced you to work out.
And got it down. Got it.
I forced you to work out because I got tired of hearing the whining.
Well, yeah, I don't want to take pills and stuff like that.
But we try and make sure that we can do as best as we can on the channel, but of course the kids are going to drive us insane and he's going to be paranoid a little bit.
But anyway, I don't know how many people we have talking with us right now. I can't see. I was hoping Caddy would have told
Excuse me.
I wish Caddy would have told me. How many we
My
have?
apologies. 15.
13? Okay. Oh, excellent. Yeah,
Sorry, I got a piece of phlegm stuck in my throat.
It's kind of like she's my cameraman holding it. We try to think of a way to set the phone up and video this and be able to look at stuff, and it's the best we can come up with. I'm sorry. We'll find some better method. Do
Yeah.
it live.
Thrand's nearly 50. I'm in my mid-30s now, so... And we've been doing this for about 12 years.
Yeah. It all started when Deadliest Warrior came out, and I disagreed with some of their episodes, and I decided to make a few clips to put online. They were never supposed to be a YouTube channel, to be honest with you. It was me trying to argue with a few people and explain to them stuff. And I shouldn't say argue, it's like explain my point of view. So I was like, well, I have to do something to show them. So I shot some clips with a friend of mine.
On a 12-second camera.
On a 12-second camera. This is not a joke.
I hated that cyber shot.
And then I found out about YouTube, and I went, you know what I'll do? I'll just put all the clips together to make one video about the video I'm talking about, and just link that to them instead of showing them clip it and clip. Originally I was going to show them each little piece. I was like, let's put it all together and put it out. There we go, make it like a video. And I did that, and everybody liked it and started watching it. And then I was like, well, I'll address the next video I have a problem with, or the next idea I have a problem with.
Go to bed, Keaton.
And then started creating the channel, and then eventually it's like, I don't need them to do that. I'll just get up and do whatever I want to do and experiment with what I want to experiment and make videos about it and talk to people about it and share it.
We have 3 boys, and honestly, my boys are soft.
And I've had people ask...
Except for the baby. Honestly, he's the one who'd stab anyone who came up to get against him. They upset him about, right?
Yeah. But I was saying, if people ask me what the channel is now, it's kind of experimental archaeology for arms and armor that we're not sure exactly how they were used, because I like trying to actually experiment with it, figure it out, see how it was used in a combat manner, if we don't have manuals and treaties and stuff like that, like later century. But it's also not only that and military history, and remembering our ancestors, all the warriors from everybody's culture, but it's also more like I guess now turned into its own style of Deadliest Warrior style, forged in fire. I mean, it sounds crazy, but I never planned on that, but that's what it started turning into, like test this weapon, test that weapon. Somebody sent me this and they made it. I want to see how it performs.
Elaine.
And so on.
Okay. Elaine, if the boys can grow a garden, they are still survivalists in a way. Right now I'm trying to teach our 5-year-old how to grow basic plants so that maybe he can help out with stuff. Sweetie, you gotta stop having anxiety issues. You know you won't help yourself by having that, okay?
I hope we haven't been on way too long for everybody to drive nuts.
I hate winged legs.
Hopefully it's still working.
Yeah, it's still working.
You didn't hit a button or nothing on it.
We would love to do more about the bronze weapons. The issue is, the hardest part for us is trying to find the bronze armor.
Right. Neil Burridge's stuff, the reason he's in between shops right now, just so everybody understands, he doesn't have a bronze shop right now. He is casting bronze still.
But
doing
bronze armor costs a lot to make and a lot to ship.
Yeah, he's living out of a mobile home of sorts, and he's casting out of it. So he is able to do it, but it's very difficult for him to work. So he doesn't want a large order coming in at the moment. You can probably still contact him and order stuff from him. Don't refrain from that if you can get him to do something for you. It's well worth it. But he's said to hold off on my Egyptian special, which I have the Kopesh, the Egyptian.
I've got to get the cotton so I can start weaving.
Yeah, and I have the Egyptian spear, the later century socketed spear, because our other ones were not socketed. And I do have the Canaanite duckbill axe, which is very similar to a lot of the Egyptian axes, and we have found Canaanite axes in Egyptian finds. So just so everybody knows, that'll be fun to test out. It'll be our Egyptian Bronze Age special. And I plan on doing it, but I am holding off till he gives me the okay that he's got his shop going. So if he does get some orders from it, or people are interested in his stuff, but it helps him to his potential, having people or not have him bothered right now when he's not able to keep up with the workload. I don't know if anybody understood.
You just heard the kids, didn't you?
Right. Yeah, they're starting.
The low battery tone, unfortunately, was from cell phone.
All right, so we're gonna have to go soon. Be looking forward to the Indiana Jones
I
Whip
was
special.
trying to see
or
what-
the Whips as Weapon special. It'll actually cover like the Belmont style idea, the Castlevania,
Honestly,
everything,
I was trying to
Zorro,
think-
Indiana Jones, everything all
Honestly,
in
I
one
was-
type weapon idea.
Can I? Honestly, I was trying to figure out if there was any way to plug his phone into where I have the laptop plugged in, but yeah.
But we've been on so long now,
Chiata.
guys. I don't want to make people feel like they need to stay all night and talk to us, and we probably need to get with the kids and give them some attention and get them to sleep a little.
Can I glue them to bed?
Maybe.
Please.
We'll see. I thought they want to watch a show, but it's getting so late now. I don't know about that.
It's 2:30 in the morning.
Yeah, they're going to bed. Sorry. We've been on a while.
I told them that we'll probably watch Alita tomorrow
Yeah.
for your sake.
Right. I haven't seen Alita Battle Angel. I'm not going to lie. I know a lot of people like Shad, different people have done videos about the sword she used, and the camera's bouncing over me now.
Aiden, France.
I was going to say that I know
very,
that
very
I've not
simplistic.
been to the pop culture thing as much. If y'all would like me to try to do that, I will. But now that the theater's closed, it's going to be a lot harder to go and see some brand new movie and evaluate.
No,
what
it's
it is.
not.
Oh, just doing it.
All we do is pay $20 to see it on TV.
Oh my
I'm
God.
looking forward to that.
Well, it costs about that much at the theater anyway, but they said
More at the theater.
What I want to know.
At least here
does
we
the
can pull up-
popcorn come out of the TV with the drinks? If it does, then it might be interesting. But if not, for that amount of money, that's a little high. Yeah, I don't know how much the theater is in your part of the country, but normally it's, for
Actually, it'd probably be cheaper just to watch it at home on the fake theater, mainly because the fact that then we've got the popcorn machine in the dark kitchen and
yeah, you get all your own food and everything. And we have recliners and everything, just like the theater. Nice big TV. Yeah, it'd probably work. But anyway, the whole point I'm saying is I don't do as many pop culture things. If anybody's interested in that, let me know, and I'll try to cover some different arms and armor. I do some occasionally, like we did the sword from 300. I actually have a replica of it that's
God.
functional. That
Yes.
was actually kind of fun.
Yes,
But I
that's
tried to
true.
explain to everybody, and people don't get my way of explaining it. It's nothing more than a fancy falchion. It's not really a falcata like it's supposed to be.
my apologies about the extra bopping.
Yeah, it's a fancy falchion is what it is. Is basically all the design is. And they made it and acted like it was an earlier period falcata or something from the Spartan age. So, but anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the video.
No, we've been trying to teach the boys how to grow food. The only issue is that, honestly, Aline, I have a black thumb. I kill everything.
No. But just to let you know, as I already remembers, because we're getting ready to go soon, my phone's going to die. We reviewed Scheiner Weisse N, and it is a Hefeweizen, which means a yeast wheat beer. And this one is a low carb or low calorie beer, 95 calories, 3.5 grams of carbs. I'm doing this because this is what the video is supposed to be about originally before we turn it into all
Honestly.
Q&A. And I highly recommend it. I give it at least a 4,
Salute.
at least a 4, if not a 4.5 as a beer in general. But
Saluti
as
wants
a
to know
low
what the
calorie,
historic
it's supreme.
sweetheart. Saluti wants to know what the historically most accurate film is.
Ooh, that's a hard one. It really is. I hate to say that. That is a hard one.
I really don't know.
That is
Honestly, my
hard.
problem is I
mean, as
can't
being
watch-
good and entertaining, there's a lot that are very
Honestly,
good and entertaining
my
and based
pro-
on history and really close.
Honestly, my problem is I can't really. I hate historical films mainly because 90% are inaccuracies.
Right, we watch them. And
If
we're
I
like,
watch them,
no.
I watch them for the amusement, and I
It's kinda like that
try to
meme.
aim for periods that I don't know anything
But
about.
it's kind of like the meme. Yeah. We're sitting there watching it. You just gotta have to let your
No,
mind go. Sometimes it's
got-
better to watch fantasy because you don't even expect it to meet
He got
any
upset.
expectations.
He got upset because I cannot stand Vikings, but that's because the fact that honestly, if you look into it, the history on Lagertha was she was a princess. She
Cameron's
wasn't a
possible.
farmer. She was the one who caused the actual divorce in the original, in their history, allegedly. But the problem is we don't know what's going on in true history.
Because it was several different stories put together. You got the
It was
Saxons.
multiple histories put together due to the fact that
Right.
nobody really knew what was going on.
And they could have been no more than made up tales like Robin Hood. about Ragnar Lothbrok.
Don't worry, he's got about 13% still.
But just
He loves Vikings.
I like the drama. I watch it as a show.
He loves it
entertain
as a
myself.
show.
And they
I just
cover-
can't stand the history
But
of
they
it.
cover different things from the sagas and different events that took place. The problem is none of those things happened all in one man's lifetime. That's the problem. Everything they're covering did not happen in one man's lifetime. Like from the very first Vikings that showed up, or Scandinavian raiders or travelers that showed up, you know, and caused any kind of ruckus there, because there was people trading way before that, going to Ireland and stuff.
The issue is
they knew where England was. Let's put it this way: the Vikings, Ragnar Lothbrok didn't discover England.
if
to
I'm
raid.
gonna
He didn't discover it. Didn't decide to raid.
May I?
That's not how
We
it happened.
we haven't actually watched The Outlaw King yet as yet. We've been
We want
looking. That's one of the two shows we've been looking into. The other one was actually The King on Netflix, but absolutely 90% of the time, if I'm watching historical shows, I watch stuff like the history on how buildings were made, how cloth was made, stuff like that.
But
We're planning on Iden. It's just trying to get the kids to leave us alone for 5 minutes to let us watch it.
Man, the camera's still going everywhere. That's no problem.
I apologize.
Well, I know you start talking to them and you act like they can see you and they can't, and the camera goes everywhere. So it's okay.
I'll kiss my butt.
Okay, but just saying, I'm watching what's going on. It's fine. I'm not upset with anybody or anything. I just say I hope they're not mad, because it's not our normal quality to have everything on a tripod. But it was the easiest way for me to do
I
this
would
live.
love to watch them. They're actually in my list for Netflix. I just haven't gone around to it. I just wish we had something actually to hold the camera so that I don't have.
I tried, but I couldn't figure out anything that would work right. The phone. It's a phone.
No, what we have to get is an actual phone holder camera.
We thought about using the laptop, but then the quality of the video would be even worse than this. It just wouldn't be moving around. That's the only good part. But plus, I wanted Caddy to kind of participate and be able to help me with the questions, because she could pick out stuff and let me know what to answer.
But no, Thrand and I had both marked Outlaw King and The King as something to watch. The only thing, it's just like I've actually watched the entire ones with. Wait, what was that series called again?
Was it Queen Elizabeth?
No, yeah, it was based on Queen Elizabeth I.
Right.
Oh, not her.
Camera?
It was before her.
Yeah, but all people are going to see is bobbing cameras.
My apologies.
You've been sitting there a long time. I'm not blaming you. I'm just saying that. I know you got to touch your face every now and then and drink and stuff like that.
Or throw my cup at you.
And look at the messages. You've been looking at the messages on the laptop. She's got a laptop next to her, so she can look at all the messages. So no, it's not her fault.
No, the problem is that
It's easier to read on the phone than on the phone. You can scroll back through it.
the phone, if I show you,
Yeah, it only pops up.
it disappears
Yes,
after a
I
few
know.
seconds.
That's why I didn't want to just use the phone. That was the idea.
Okay.
Using a laptop. And I can't read it myself.
Okay.
Until myself. And the
What
camera's
I was
terrible.
going to say is the White Queen, the Red Queen, all that crud. Honestly, I know they're not historically accurate. Like the blah, blah, excuse my language. I know they're not historically accurate. They're based on Philippa, whatever her name's.
But you're watching them the same reason I do the Vikings for drama.
They're
For
amusing.
entertainment. Yeah.
They're amusing. The White Queen, the Red Queen, and the Spanish Queen, if I remember correctly. I watched them, but yes, they're not exactly accurate.
But if
They are
if they want to see my true
mostly for
opinion,
entertainment.
but if they want to see my true opinion of Vikings, and check that out, they can go back. There was an old video I did with the old first associate producer of Deadliest Warrior, Barry Jacobson, and he's on via Skype, and that's back when Elgrim was still with us, if they're an Elgrim fan. And we interview Barry Jacobson, and we ask him his opinions and our opinions as historians of what we think about Vikings Season 1. So they can still watch that, Viking Season 1 review, with the old associate producer from Deadliest Warrior, Barry Jacobson. He's also
I had less problems with season 1 than later.
Huh?
I'm sorry. Eileen, I'm guessing you're another mother. If you are, would you have a problem with having control over a princess? By old Viking law, the first wife to the husband had control over any later wives.
And they could have multiple wives on them.
And
There was
yes,
no
a
rule
lot
that
of
they couldn't. Yeah.
a lot of regions had the rule that they could have multiple wives.
But the wife had to agree, the first
But
wife,
the first wife had to agree to the extra wives.
she had to approve
Yes.
her to marry her. Yeah.
Yes, you had to have agreement, or yes, you had to support your children no matter what. But basically, if you were sure your husband had sex out of wedlock, and he had a child with a princess, would you not agree with it if you had control over that princess?
You'd be a king ding dong, basically. A main wife. Control all the keys, all the wealth, everything. Tell her what to do, basically. Yeah, like Eartha wouldn't be too upset being the farmer's daughter like they made her, which she wasn't originally. She was a princess. And
She was a princess in Sweden, if I remember correctly.
right,
By
and a pirate, and had her own ship.
no, that came up after.
Well, true.
That came out after
Viking.
Ragnar had originally saved her from